Isn't that corrupt?
Well,
Man, I
Sardo.
love Persona 5.
Hello, folks. Hello.
Hello. Stross. So what's the topic for tonight, buddy?
Okay, so I'm Stross. That's Sardo. This is the Skeleton Crew podcast. We're talking about Neil Breen, specifically. What was the movie we watched?
Pass through.
Yeah, Pass Thru. This was Sardo's idea, which we're starting to realize that when Sardo wants to watch things, it's usually bad.
Or insane.
Oh yeah, and this one is more of the second than the first, but really, we needed to do an episode after we recorded the last episode because I will be out of town soon. And
Mhm.
well, we thought, what would be easier than watching a movie? If you know that voice, then you've been to my streams as of late.
We're watching a movie, Joker.
So yeah, we watched the Neil Breen movie Pass Thru. So Sardo, since this was your idea, and not because I'm mad and wanting you to do it, this was your introduction. Explain what Neil Breen is to the folks at
We're
home.
hold we're holding me accountable. Neil
Yes.
Breen. Neil Breen is a filmmaker. Neil Breen is a former architect. I believe he dabbled in real estate for a while, and then he started making movies. He has made, I believe, 6 films up to this point, and all of them generally have the same theme. All of them he has either self-funded or crowd-funded, and they're all very similar. He's the director, screenwriter, and lead actor in all of them, which should tell you something to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's definitely this generation's Ed Wood.
Uh, yeah, kinda.
I mean, everybody says it's Tommy Wiseau, and not to hate on Tommy Wiseau, but he just doesn't have the scale that Breen has
Well, I
achieved.
also think Ty Wiseau only really made the one thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, he's
It's
not as
it.
prolific.
Yeah, no. So we watched a movie called Passing Through. Yes,
Pass through, like
Pass Through.
through spelled like drive through, THRU.
Right. And I think the best way to describe it is I have no idea what happened. We watched the whole movie, and I don't know what happened.
You know, that's a fair thing. I think that's a common experience. Would you believe me, Strauss, if I told you I actually showed you one of the Tamer Breen movies?
Yes, actually, I do. You forget, Sardo.
Yeah.
I'm a film student. Weird shit is normal to me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot weirder out there, but let's talk shop here.
Yes, so I
And
will do my best for you, Sardo, to explain what happened.
I wanted to share this particular creator with you because I know you are a film student, and I was really interested to hear your particular take on this. So,
Yes,
Strauss,
I
break
will.
it down for us.
Okay, so the movie opens up with the fact that there is basically three plots happening in this movie.
Mhm,
There are these kids looking for space aliens for this aging professor.
mhm.
They are not important. They show up like
No,
4 times.
nobody gives a shit about these kids.
They're in the opening sequence, but they're barely in the movie. Then there is this drug smuggling ring with I'm supposing are supposed to be migrant workers.
I'm thinking like yeah, it's they're drug mules for this. I'm assuming it's like a cartel human trafficking kind of organization.
Yes, but the problem is no one knows that none of them sound like they're from anywhere other than the United States or maybe Canada.
This is a thoroughly American sounding production, or maybe Canadian. I don't know. It's hard to
I'm
tell.
pretty sure it's American considering we're in a desert 90% of this movie.
Well, yeah, but it could be Canadians in the desert.
This is true. But we're positive that they're from the United States, and it's probably somewhere in the southwestern-ish parts of the United States.
Likely.
And then finally, there's this weird man from outer space who is basically Jesus, who just lives in a shitty trailer. Like, okay, that's not fair. Shitty implies that it's still good. A dilapidated trailer might be more accurate.
An antique trailer.
A dilapidated antique trailer. And I thought that movie was fucking weird. Nonsensical.
And also,
I loved it.
I should mention too, our alien Jesus fella is played by our director Neil Breen. How would you describe Mr. Breen, Stross?
Mr. Breen looks like a somewhat older gentleman, probably in his mid 50s to 60s.
He was born in 58.
Okay, so yeah, I'm assuming this movie came out in the mid 2010s. When did this movie come out?
Let me take a look. I have the Wikipedia article pulled up.
All right, thank you.
Let's see here. Pass Thru came out in 2016.
Okay, so yeah, he was in his mid 60s when this movie came out. So I was correct.
Yes.
Go me.
Yeah.
Well done.
Good job.
Wow, I succeeded. But yeah, Neil Breen, he dressed in all denim with kind of thinnish, long hair. He's a white guy and like weird and like very 70s sideburns.
Yes.
Goes around a desert every so often talking about the nature of humanity in nonsensical soliloquies as a drone shot pans over him all the time.
They had that drone rented for a day, and they were going to use it. God damn it.
Definitely.
There's also a tiger.
Yeah, there's a tiger. No one knows what the tiger's here for. It's just here.
A very green-screened tiger.
Very green-screened. I'm assuming metaphorical.
Maybe. It could just be literal. I don't know.
It could be literal. But we don't know. That's the thing about this movie. Everything is I don't know. So, in this movie, we get some drug mules brought over the border by these what we're gonna call drugglers from here on out.
Yep, they're drugglers.
Drug
they're
smugglers.
drug smugglers.
And they're led by this black lady who is very dangerous because she shot like 2 people with the same shot.
I think her line reading reminds me a little of Lu Bu in Dynasty Warriors 8, just in terms of everything she's saying is in all caps.
But not actually heavily screamed. So she's loud, but like this.
I will kill you.
And yeah. So this movie jumps around from like what's happening to the other drug mules who are like stuck in a house, which I'm assuming is a house Neil Breen owns.
Probably.
Just for ease and made more dilapidated looking. And then occasionally going back to this trailer, which I'm assuming they just found out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's more fun that way. To just have horrible things happen. And throughout this movie, this like niece and aunt who look like they're the same age.
I do love the writing in this is masterful, because the reason we know they're a niece and an aunt is because the aunt tells the niece within the first scene of them running away, "Your sister was my mother. You are my sister's daughter. I'm your aunt."
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Like, the dialogue is nonsensical. The acting is subpar. The effects are incredibly cheap. Like, every time they pull a trigger on a gun, which is clearly fake, it's like, poo, poo. The gun doesn't even have recoil. They're just pressing the trigger.
there's some great stock sound effects in
Oh yeah,
this.
stock sound effects, stock effects, um, the lowest of low budget you can think of.
The stock bonk is my favorite.
That was great. There's one point where Neil Breen gets like clonked on the head by an object. It's just bonk. In fact, I believe I have the bonk on a soundboard. Please do not abuse this. I am being nice when I'm doing this.
Yes.
It's that. It's that bonk sound effect. It's something like that. It's very cartoony. And basically, they talk philosophy until eventually Neil Breen, Space Jesus, decides to go just like destroy like millions of human beings to fix the world, get rid of all the corrupt peoples. Because he goes to like a mansion filled with like the bad people society who are like the bankers, the corrupt politicians.
And it's like 3 people.
It's like 3 people in this room. It's just really funny. And he just goes in, and this is what caused us to watch this movie in the first place. He goes, "Isn't that corrupt?" Several times. Until he, like, blows up the entire mansion in bad green screen and effects. It's great.
And he walks away from it wearing a full Canadian tuxedo. It's
Full
so
denim.
good.
It's so good. Really, that's basically what happens in the movie until the very end, where like the aunt's ex-husband comes in and he like shoots both of them, and then he revives them and makes him kill himself. It's like, no, you will kill yourself.
Yes.
Like a Jedi.
I'm a stand user.
It's like a Jedi mind trick, but sillier. Just the whole thing is silly.
It's deeply absurd.
It's deeply ludicrous. It's deeply weird. Sardo, why did you want to watch this in the first place?
Well, I'll be real, Stross. The main reason I wanted to show you this is because I know you're a man who knows a bit about movies. You know about how they're made. You know kind of what makes them good. You know what makes them not so good. And I'd say you've got good taste and you've got the education. And I was really fascinated to hear your take on this.
Well, the first thing you should know about me, Sardo, is that I love terrible movies.
Yeah.
I love this shit because it is stupid, it is goofy, and it's just fun to watch like someone who clearly is not capable of making art, make art.
Now, would you say, in your opinion, is Neil Breen outsider art?
He might be. I don't know. This is hard because I feel like outsider art to define outsider art for the normal people who don't care about this stuff like we do. Outsider art is art created by people who have no formal education in art. And do you have a favorite outsider artist just off the top of your head?
Oh shoot. You know, this is gonna be silly. It is actually the guy who was in the Down the Rabbit Hole video. The cave guy.
Henry Darger, I believe.
Yes, that guy, Henry Darger.
Yes. Now, Henry Darger is probably one of the most famous American outsider artists. But outsider artists are people who aren't formally trained in anything. Who wrote that song? There's another one. Daniel Johnston, I believe is his name. Oh, I'm just making sure I'm double checking that. I think just double checking for... Yes! He did the song Some Things Last a Long Time. He was an outsider musician.
And I've always kind of found the definition of outsider art interesting because, especially now that the materials to make art are more publicly accessible. Like, what what is, professional training? What constitutes the education that one needs to not be an outsider artist?
Well, here's what I'll say. Neil, the problem with saying for movies making
Hmm.
outsider art is that it's very hard to make a movie without someone who knows how to work the tools.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to pick up a paintbrush and paint, whether or not you paint or not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to like state that like it's easy to paint. It's very much not.
But I mean, it's the difference between picking up a paintbrush and picking up a paintbrush with the full knowledge of techniques and
Yes.
how that brush works.
Right. And also, like, the thing is, movies are highly collaborative pieces of work,
Hmm.
which makes making, like, it truly outsider art kind of questionable. Because you need somebody who knows what they're doing, or else it will literally not work.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, I think this is about as close as you're going to get.
Okay.
It's like we understand what a movie is. Because I would say in today's modern world, it's harder and harder to get outsider art because now you can just look up like tutorials, practice your craft.
You can learn from a YouTube video.
Yeah, you can learn from a YouTube video of someone who actually knows what they're doing.
Hmm.
Whereas back in the day, where professional artists were a thing that got patroned.
God, I wish that was still a thing.
God, yeah, things started would kill for. I wish to be patroned by a rich nobleman who thinks I'm hot.
Please. Please.
I want to be in a Renaissance romance story, por favor.
But yeah, it's different now because there's such a permeation of culture and knowing what media is. I mean, shit, it's hard, but you can pick up stuff like animation now from watching videos and watching
Well, like,
tutorials.
for example, you have, like, a whole generation of animators who came up from being on the internet
Hmm.
that exist.
Yeah.
So, I think you are right that the idea of outsider art is kind of dying.
Hmm.
Because it's just hard to have someone who has no real formal knowledge of how art works.
It's either dying or the definition needs to be updated.
Yeah, and I feel like dying is probably more accurate because, like, what is outsider art? It's art made by people who are untrained, not meant to be formal artists. And I think like Neil Breen is close to what a modern one might look like.
Yes.
Someone who because like you stated he used to be a real estate agent.
Architect.
Okay,
Architect.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Little bit of real estate, but mostly architect.
Yeah, so like he understands how to like draw a thing, clearly,
Hmm.
because he's an architect.
Yeah.
I wonder we should try to find buildings that he designed one day.
Oh, that's a good point.
If they're still around, obviously, because buildings get torn down all the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would say when it comes to outsider art, like this is about as close as you're gonna get because he probably watched some like YouTube tutorials or something on how to edit and how
Sure,
like
and
to do things.
and I'm sure he probably had like friends who gave him like a little bit of resource and access to, stuff.
It's definitely like for movies it's harder because he probably hired a cameraman or something.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, point is, these movies are poorly made. They're it was very silly. We had a great time.
Oh, I had a wonderful time.
We were just giggling every so often. Especially the part where people just disappear and they just get faded out of existence.
And I think the
Years
thing that
before the
makes
Thanos snap.
Oh yeah,
Did
yeah.
Marvel
The,
steal from Neil Breen?
I think he should sue.
He should sue.
What makes this what makes Pass Thru especially enjoyable for me is that I think there's a nice mix of skill levels for the actors involved. Like, I think the aunt and the niece were probably some of the better actors involved in this. Um there were some people who just straight up like fucking could not read their lines.
Oh, they're like the ex-husband. It's like, who are you?
And I'm thinking like the blonde lady, like the lady with the blonde bob in the scene where it's like all the corrupt business officials discussing their like, you know, and I bribed them and I know I can get my way for a price. Like she fucked up so many words in her lines and it was beautiful unless they were written that way, which they might have been.
It could be both.
It could definitely be both.
But yeah,
But
it's just like it's cheap. It feels cheap, but it's kind of incredible.
and there's like this Neil Breen's writing feels like an alien who has a little bit of human knowledge from watching films and is trying to replicate human behavior.
Kinda, yeah.
One of my, I think, top 3 favorite moments in that was when the aunt asks our main character, you know, what's your name? And he looks around in a panic, and that scene of like, you know, trying to draw up a name from objects he sees, and he sees a Light and Fit yogurt container, and he says, my name is Teal. It's spelled like light but backwards, but it's pronounced Till. And it's so fucking silly. And it's like he's trying to tell a joke, and he doesn't quite land it, but it's still funny because he tried.
A lot of the movie is just unintentionally incredibly hilarious. Like, there's the point where like they put all like the drug mules into the back of a truck, and they're just like they scream, and then they stop screaming for a moment because they thought the scene was over, and then they realized it was still going, so they start screaming again.
And when they're like when the mules are like, you know, walking through the desert at the very beginning, you can hear them like talking. It's like, you know, how long have we been walking? I don't know where we're going. And it's that like looping for 3 seconds.
Or
just this
they're trying to escape through a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And like, free us, we want to leave, free us. And when the thing falls down, they go, free us, we want to leave, despite the fact that it just happened.
Yeah.
It's this is the level of budget we're working with, people.
And the writing fascinates me, and this is also very much a thing with Neil Breen of, oops, the message was accidentally genocidal, because, you know, the Till character is like, you know, I'm going to wipe out all the bad people from the earth. I have killed 300 million people, and he does refer to it as the cleansing, and it's like, dude.
Like, I'm gonna say that, like, it's not like racist in that sense where it's like, no, the bad people should go away.
It's like there's it's like we're trying to get rid of like corrupt politicians, corrupt business officials who betray the trust of their people, and
you know, evil bankers, it's international bankers, which are separate people apparently.
It's a case of really, really unfortunate and terrible phrasing.
Yes. It's one of those things where it's just like, this is clearly written by somebody who did not think about anything around the idea of implication.
I don't think Neil Breen ever thinks fully about anything. And
no, I don't.
Strength.
Like, because his whole, like, the whole philosophy of this movie, and yes, I'm taking this very seriously for a moment.
As you should.
As I should. Is that Neil Breen states like mankind has lost its way ages ago, and and people are bad, and people should like when he frees the drug mules, it's like go back to your own country, change it for the better. But not in like a xenophobic way, but it's like you can fix your country too.
Yeah, it's like, and you kind of get that he means like, take the power into your own hands, and it's like, I understand what you're trying to say, but Neil,
the way you're saying it sounds really weird, xenophobic by accident.
especially as like, this lone brave white guy,
In fairness, the people he's talking to are like a random assortment of people. Like there's black guys, there's black women, there's white women, I think they're supposed to be Latina, I think.
Admittedly, it's a pretty diverse cast. It's more diverse than a lot of mainstream films you'll probably see this summer.
Which is really funny. In fact, I'm pretty sure outside of like the one bald like the bad men in this movie, all of the white guys outside of Neil Breen are bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Breen says white people are bad.
Oh, like there's the old like white professor guy.
Yeah, he's the only good white person not played by Neil Breen in this movie. And
there are no good people, only Neil Breen.
Only Neil Breen, and it's just this whole movie is so silly and ridiculous.
And it's like, I don't know, it fascinates me, and I'm not gonna let this joke drop because you're streaming it right now, so it's in my brain, but I want to see Pass Thru remade as a Persona game. I am thou art I.
I summon ye, tiger. Neil Breen's persona or Stan is that tiger that just is there.
I need to get really good at one of the Persona art styles now and draw Neil Breen as like a character portrait.
You really need to do it. Just like you draw him and it's a tiger and it's just like Neil Breen summoned the grand tiger.
Okay, which arcana is Neil Breen?
Oh, he has to be the emperor.
Oh, of course.
Just
Neil Breen to get to be in the Persona dancing games too.
Yeah, of course. And we should mention Neil Breen's character just for large swaths of this movie spends just going around a desert with like a voiceover of Neil Breen talking about philosophy of his like character's philosophy about mankind.
This world is corrupt. Mankind has evolved into a worse state.
And it's just that. I would say a good, like, half an hour of this movie is just that.
And, Stross, if you will, describe Neil Breen's general line reading. Like...
I'm gonna say it like this. Isn't that corrupt? I'm not going to hurt you. It's like that.
Have some water.
Hold on, I'm going to clean it. Actually, I'm
cans.
Just throwing out cans. Actually, that's not fair. He might be one of the better actors in this movie.
Maybe.
At least in the top 50%.
I mean, he's definitely better than some.
Yeah. It's just a wild place. Just weird.
It's fascinating, and like we need to talk about this more, like probably in like a broader scope in another episode, but bad movies fascinate me. And like not in just the oh they're bad sense, but it's like, okay, I'm somebody who like I don't have any formal education in it, but I would really love to make a movie someday just to say I did, and just because I love films. I think it's cool, and I would love to do that.
Mm-hmm. I would love to make a bad movie with you.
Yes.
The only problem is I think I'm actually too like trained to fuck up most of it.
We could make a mediocre film.
Yes, but the problem is that wouldn't be as fun.
Well, we'll figure out one of these days. But I think that'd be I just want to make a movie. And once we are done recording here, I want to pitch an idea to you because
Absolutely.
yeah, but I I think the point is we both love movies. You know, we
Yes.
come at it from different places, different levels of education. Um, I was not a film major. I know precisely fuck all about how to actually make a movie outside of the one I made with some friends in high school. But
Which I believe you're gonna say doesn't really count.
it doesn't count. Oh, it doesn't count at all. It was some dumb, silly bullshit. But I this you know, good movies good movies are one thing. Bad movies are a whole different thing, and I think I'm more interested in bad movies than I am in good ones.
I feel like the real answer is you're more interested in bad ones, but you probably love watching good ones more. But
Yes.
I feel like the best way to describe this entire process for us was just basically watching Neil Breen bumble around for like hours on end, which what must have been days of filming.
Agonizing days of filming because everybody looks very sweaty and very tired.
Yeah,
This is a very
everyone
sweaty movie.
they're because we have to understand they are out in the middle of the hot sun.
I think they are in Arizona.
Pretty sure they're in like the Arizona, like Utah, New Mexico,
It might be
Nevada
Arizona
area.
or I think it's Nevada. I think it's Nevada
They're in
actually.
sort of that area of the country.
Hmm.
That's where they probably are, and it's just watching a bunch of people trudge around like a desert all day, trying to act with probably
And
not a
this
lot of shade.
oh no.
Just they are just not having it.
This looked like a rough movie to make.
But thank God that they did.
I'm very glad that they did.
I'm glad that they did.
So, Stross, I
Hmm.
guess in closing to all this, what were your thoughts on Pass Through, and would you watch another Neil Breen movie?
I would absolutely watch another Neil Breen movie with you in the way
Good.
that we did it, which is us watching it together, making fun of it all along the way.
Oh yeah.
And it is not good,
Oh no.
but who cares? It doesn't have to be good for it
And
exists.
I think and I want that on my tombstone because that's how I feel about a lot of things. It doesn't have to be good.
It
I
doesn't.
like that.
What are your thoughts on Pass Through?
Um Definitely not Neil Breen's best work, and I'm sorry we did not start out with his best work, but also if you saw his best work, you'd probably also have to see his ball sack, because that's the thing. Neil Breen does, in the tradition of Tommy Wiseau, Neil Breen does several nude scenes in his movies. Nobody asked for it, but you're gonna see his ass in a few of his movies, and you're also gonna see his balls. I'm very sorry.
Oh,
Um.
you act like I haven't seen some weird self-indulgent bullshit in my time
Oh,
making
I know
art.
you have. But Pass Through is an interesting introduction to him.
I think
I
it's.
think it's
I would say, and I think you'll agree with me, it's a good starter.
yes, it is. It's a very good starter. It's a bit of the shallow end, bit of the higher end of the iceberg. But I think it gives you a good idea as to what you're in for.
But Sardo, isn't that
What?
corrupt?
Doesn't that betray the people? I love Persona 5.
Oh Lord, this movie was. It's on YouTube. You can go watch it
For free.
for free if you want to experience the madness. It's less than 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's a fairly short watch, and if you want to support Mr. Breen, which I espouse supporting artists in their endeavors, You can buy his DVDs from him. He doesn't send you a pair of signed underwear like Tommy Wiseau does, unfortunately. So
Ooh.
that's, I know, lame. But you can purchase his films. And I'm gonna say, in the advent of streaming services being an absolute kick in the dick, buy DVDs. If you have a movie you love, buy it in physical form.
I agree. And also, in turn, I want Neil Breen to direct like a rom-com.
Oh yeah.
I want him to do like a thriller. I want him to do every genre he can. I just want
I
to see
would
what would
love
happen.
that.
I just want to
Okay.
know what would happen.
So Stross,
Yes.
who's your dream collaboration between Neil Breen and another director? Like, what's your dream Breen team?
I want Neil Breen to work with like Christopher Nolan, like this boring ass, like the most normal man director possible. Just to like
Neil Breen directs Oppenheimer.
exactly. I want it to just be insane.
Oh, that's good. See, I would love to see Neil Breen and David Lynch work on something together.
I see, like, the reason why I didn't say David Lynch is because I felt like that was too easy.
I mean, yes, but I feel like they would play well together.
No, they would. I want something chaotic. I want just, like, the most oil...
Nolan's
I want the most oil and water, and that's why I picked Christopher Nolan, who's the most, like... sterile filmmaker around today.
He's the ham sandwich on white bread of
Yes,
directors.
He very much is, and that's both a compliment and an insult.
But, okay, if Breen and Nolan work together, do you think they would actually produce something good? Because I think there's a possibility there.
There is only two ways this goes. Either the movie is amazing, or it is the worst thing ever. And either way, we win.
Yes, that's precisely it. I hope Neil Breen continues to make movies. I know he made one pretty recently. Let me see what it was.
Okay.
Because he's put out a lot of stuff. Shoot. Sorry. It's taken me a minute. Hold on, let me figure it.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll fill the air.
No. He put up he made something this year. Cade, The Tortured Crossing. It's an independent science fiction psychological thriller.
Oh, he's doing what I wanted. The world is good.
He's giving you everything you want. Cade Altair enters a mysterious mental hospital in order to imbue the patients with mystical powers, enabling them to fight for humanity and justice. Holy shit.
We might have to watch this.
I'm gonna pay money so we can watch it.
I believe we should.
Oh my
future
God.
episode, Cade. I'm sorry. We said we will.
I'm a man of my word, especially when it comes to shitty movies.
I mean, I have Six Staying Samurai, which we also should watch one day. If you haven't already.
Yeah. I would really like to make bad or questionable movies kind of like a recurring theme on this podcast.
I would too, but the problem is I own mostly actual good movies.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
I mean, I'm also down with watching Ikaru with you.
All right. Hell yeah.
Kurosawa's best movie in my opinion.
I'll watch it.
I mean, I know you'll watch it. The plan is every so often we'll watch good things, and every so often we'll watch something like this. I'm sorry that you've had to deal with us talking about this for 40-some minutes.
Stross, your episodes are the palate cleanser. I think we've established that. If something is Sardo's idea, it's not good.
Well, in fairness, I don't want it. It's like, I don't want you to just have the reputation that you somehow have bad taste, because you don't.
Love that reputation though. I embrace it.
Well, it's not okay. Let me rephrase it. It's not that you don't have good taste. It's more of I just don't want everyone to think that you just inflict things on me, and this isn't a mutual thing that I'm agreeing to on
Oh,
purpose.
if this wasn't something you agreed to, we wouldn't be making it. This is wholly your fault too. But
Yeah,
um I'm the idiot in this Bokeh and Sukomi routine. You must understand.
I know. But that was the introduction to Neil Breen. We're not done yet, though. There's some other stuff we get to talk about today because some stuff came out.
Oh yeah.
So we'll start first. Adult Swim has launched us some trailers. So first things first, there was Lazarus. Did you watch that trailer?
I did watch that trailer.
It looks neat. It's by Inshiro Watanabe, who made Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy, Samurai Champloo,
So,
a host of other great anime that you've probably seen. Go watch Carol on Tuesday. It's actually pretty good.
oh, it's very good. So, it's at least going to be okay.
It's at
You
least
figure.
well, like, what is the worst Watanabe thing? Like Kids on the Slope. That's not bad.
Probably.
And honestly,
Yeah.
part of that is because he didn't write it.
Yeah.
That was an adaptation.
But aesthetically it looks great.
Yeah.
I've seen the preview for it. I'm stoked. I'm
Yeah.
stoked. I can't wait.
There's a ninja movie called Kamui the Unseen or whatever. I didn't really get a chance to watch that one, but it looks neat. It's a ninja
Yeah.
movie. We like ninjas here, especially if
do.
they're moms. As we,
Oh yeah,
for those who have watched or listened through the entirety of that 2.5 hour behemoth, you know,
we love ninja movies.
and we love ninja moms.
We do.
But the new season of Fooly Cooly Grunge is coming out. It's this one's going to be divisive. Oh Lord, is it going to be divisive? I feel like that's a fair statement to make, despite only seeing a trailer, because A, it's 3D animation, and B, it's more.
It's different.
Did you see the other Fooly Cooly seasons that they made?
Oh yes. I did.
What did you think of Progressive and Alternative?
Fine.
Yeah, I liked Alternative more than I liked Progressive, but I thought they were fine.
Yeah. Alternative was definitely better.
Yes.
This, and I believe it was you who said that all of the characters in this one look like they're from different things.
Oh, that was a different friend of mine. I think I can't tell if it was my friend Nick or my friend Sam who said it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like what they said. I was like, yeah, like they have a character that looks like the Thing.
Yeah.
From Fantastic Four.
Exactly like the Thing.
And there's like this weird like alt girl with short hair, and then there's the boy who looks like kind of like the boy from the first Fooly Cooly season. I mean, I'm gonna be super real with you, Sardo. If all these things are just an excuse for the Pillows to do another tour across America, I will take this I will watch every season of Fooly Cooly ever made, and to be made for that again. So,
Yeah.
not gonna complain.
I mean, and from my perspective, I'm going into it with an open mind. I actually don't think it looks bad.
I don't think it looks bad. It's just it looks weird in a way that there's always been kind of an issue with 3D anime.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's either really really good, like the new Trigun series looked great.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful series.
You know, Land of the Illustrious looked great.
I think it's just how you apply it.
Yeah, and this one doesn't look like the best application, but they might do something with it, so we'll see.
Fooly Cooly's always done things a little different way.
Yeah.
And if it chooses to do things a little different way here, I'm here for it. I'll see what they've got on offer. So that's how I feel.
With that said, I feel like the one that everyone saw and went, oh, was we finally have a Junji Ito adaptation that looks like Junji Ito.
If you can hear that, that's me like aggressively slapping my legs because I'm very excited.
So they announced the Uzumaki series like a few years ago, and it's basically been quiet ever since, other than like an occasional like trailer thing here and there. And we finally have a full on trailer, and it's just.
And it's the guy who did the soundtrack for Hereditary on the soundtrack for this, if I remember correctly.
The whole
Which
thing.
is exciting.
The whole thing looks great.
It looks. I'm so excited. It's funny because I'm actually wearing one of my multiple Junji Ito shirts while we're recording this. Probably my best Junji Ito shirt, but oh, Stross, it looks beautiful.
It looks great. Like it captures his artwork better than I've ever seen. Because like you've seen anime adaptations of Ito's work, and they all look bad.
Rough.
They're all rough. They're sort of like how, because Junji Ito has a very specific style.
Yeah.
That, much like Berserk, doesn't really translate well to animation because it looks a very specific way. It's sort of also like how the adaptation for Dorohedoro also looked kind of off. Like, now, mind you, the anime adaptation of Dorohedoro actually looked pretty good. It also was in 3D. You could tell if you look at it for long enough. And this is also mostly 3D, so they're using all that 3D in the best way. Like, this is what I mean when I say you could use 3D in anime very well, and this is what we mean.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I am going to be forcing a lot of my friends to watch this.
I mean,
and they're
you don't have to force me. I want to see it. It looks fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Like everything, that trailer alone like sold everyone I know. Everyone's just like, I'm in.
I can't wait. I am so hyped.
And it looks great. It like the sound design is great. The whole thing looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm so glad that Ito's work is finally getting the animated adaptation I feel it deserves. Because, I mean, yeah, really controversial thing to say that Junji Ito does good stuff.
And this is one of his, like, classics.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that one is the one I'm really excited for. Personally.
Same here. Yeah, that's my big thing. I'm can't wait.
I can't wait either. It's coming out soonish. Like, all that time waiting was worth it, and it's so great to be like, finally somebody got it. Also because it's like black and white, so it like really is like doubling down on the way he like shades things. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's that beautiful style, the gorgeous line work, his depth, his shadow.
His spirals. It looks great. Speaking of things that are coming out, we also both watched. We watched it yesterday, so I'm glad we're talking about this now. We also are getting Armor Core 6 is coming out next month.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's gonna be some gross transhumanism and horrible exploitation of people. We love that in our mecha stuff. We're excited.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
We love some interesting social issues in mecha.
Yeah, we do. And it looks neat.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yes, we're filling time. Sorry. It's hard to describe a Neil Breen work. We'll get better at it over time.
Stross, we're not filling time. We're talking about things we're excited about.
This is true. But yeah, so watch Uzumaki when it comes out. It looks fantastic.
And also, kudos to Junji Ito who's been putting out like pretty regular like collections of his shorter works. Mm-hmm. Really love his stuff. Tombs came out not too long ago. Would highly recommend checking that out. I think it's a little bit of his older works, but it's good shit. It's creepy. I love the one about the kid who moves into the house and there's a window in the house across the street where there's this creepy lady, and I love explaining Junji Ito shit to people because, like, well, what's this story about? And it's like, what if there was a person who was so fucked up and weird? And that's the premise, and he makes it work.
It's
Stross, I love him.
yeah. Well, it is fun to have him back, and
It
it's
is.
nice to have him get like the anime his work deserves.
It is nice. I want to see him continue to thrive because Junji Ito better not ever do anything like fucked up or awful because
Well, only unless it's like spooky awful.
well, yeah.
Like okay, it's like if he pulls a jigsaw and does a Saw movie, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's fine.
You know, if Junji Ito told me that I had fucked up in my life and now I have to solve this puzzle or he'll kill me, I'd be like, that's fair.
I'm like, okay, fair enough. It's honestly, this is like, honestly, most horror authors are usually pretty like normal people. All their
The-
weird, creepy bullshit usually is in their work.
Well, yeah, because like they get their sillies out through the media,
Exactly.
so. But and I feel like he would do it in such like a polite and chill way that it's like, yeah, you've been not great. You should, crawl through this pit of syringes because of it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, man.
Besides, are you gonna see? Are you gonna Barbie Heimer at some point, or just
I'm
Barbie?
probably
Or
gonna I'm gonna Barbie. I'm not gonna Heimer because I I get to be depressed every single day of my life for free, and I don't need to pay money to be depressed for 2 hours of my life.
I think it's 3 hours actually.
3 hours. I love Cillian Murphy, but I don't know. I'm
Them
just not
cheekbones,
terribly
man.
interested.
Oh no, those
He,
cheekbones. He
I
gets to
do
have
love
a
his cheek.
sex scene.
Yeah,
Those
I love
cheekbones.
him.
Those cheekbones can cut a tank open.
Yeah, I mean, I would go see a movie if he did that. I would pay money to watch Cillian Murphy cut open a tank with his cheekbones.
Hear that, Hollywood? Well, not
You
right
you
now.
heard it.
First, give it to the actors and writers' demands, and then make that movie.
Yeah, first of all, fucking yeah.
First off, pay your workers, then make that movie.
Yes. Are you gonna Barbenheimer Strauss?
I'm probably not Barbenheimer. I know Z wants to see the Barbie movie, and so we're probably gonna do that at some point. Probably when I get back from my little vacay.
Z has excellent taste.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at it. I mean, I would probably see Oppenheimer. I would have much more likely have seen it in college than I would now. Not only because it's just like I already know this story, so I don't really need it to be the tragedy of the making of the atomic bomb. Like, yeah, I already know how this goes.
Yeah.
I don't need to be told that everyone involved kind of had some massive regrets about it, man.
All regrets.
But I could watch Cillian Murphy have regrets about things. That sounds like fun.
That's true. But it's been really funny the effect that Barbie has had on everybody I work with because Strauss, you have like 6 or 7 30-something-year-old people trying to coordinate outfits and days to go see Barbie together. Like, also my mom wants to go see it with us, and it's funny how much we've bonded over this.
I think it's because it's just such a weird concept of a movie to be made.
Oh yeah.
But it's being made by someone who has like high-minded aspirations.
It's an artiste.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And
very
also Margot
weird.
Robbie.
Yeah, and
And like
Ryan Gosling.
I would follow Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling into hell itself. So
Yeah. There you go.
I'm excited. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever
that's
heard any other Aqua song, by the way?
no.
I have. Probably too
I'll have to
many.
listen.
As in more than 3.
Fascinating. But Yeah, that was our experience with Neil Breen. I hope you all enjoyed. Check him out. I will say, if bad movies are your thing and you haven't experienced him yet, give it a try. See what you think. Definitely start with something like Pass Thru, because the deeper you go in, the weirder it gets. But
Weird shit like this, you need to onboard yourself.
yeah, dip a toe in first before you
Yeah.
go all in. But with that said, uh, thank y'all for listening.
Yeah.
Deeply appreciated. This
Um,
has been the Skeleton Crew.
yeah, this has been the Skeleton Crew podcast. You could follow Sardo at Autopsy Garlands on Twitter, Marquis
Mhm.
Belial on most as the art account, Uncle Death Monday nights on Twitch, where we do the drawings. Well, Sardo does the drawings, and I comment over them like a weirdo.
You provide moral support and also give me prompts, which is important.
Yeah, I'm a very good ideas person, which is like a very bad combination with somebody who can actually make them be reality. So then everyone has to deal with the fact that we are like a dangerous duo.
We're God, who are the people in Mad Max? The big
Master
dude and the
Blaster.
little dude. Yeah, we're Master Blaster.
Oh, I'm so down for that.
Hell yeah.
And you can follow me at All My Stross on Twitter for as long as it's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And also on other places. If it's a social media platform and I'm on there, it will be All My Stross. Not Snapchat, though. I'm not on Snapchat.
Yep.
I don't think you are
Nope.
either.
Nope, I am not.
And I'm Twitch Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So come tomorrow night. Sardo and I are going to be doing more Persona 5.
Yeah.
You're going to hear the Morgana voice a lot. We're not
A lot.
apologizing.
Nope.
Not
You know
a
what you're
single
here for.
not a single apology will be given.
Not sorry at all.
No way, Joker. I love you. But thank you, folks. Have a nice evening. This would be another podcast that will be released sometime in the next 2 weeks for us.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. We're sorry about the Black Butler episode, or not sorry. I don't know.
I'm not sorry. I'm not
Sardo
sorry at
doesn't-
all.
I'm not sorry either. But remember, folks, it's hot out, so stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Stay cool. Always wear sunscreen.
Yeah, unless you're only out for like a brief moment, where in that case you're probably gonna be fine. Like, if you're like walking to the store and back, you're gonna be good. Unless it's a
Yeah.
long walk. Like if it's
Either
like
way,
5-10 minutes, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. Either way, take care of yourselves. Be well.
And
have a good night.
don't eat the yellow snow. I know that you're probably not gonna find anything in the northern hemisphere. For you guys in the southern hemisphere, don't. I know you're thinking about it. Don't. It's not pineapple flavored.
It's lemon.
No, it's
Cha-cha-cha.
not. It's not lemon. Lemon likes getting head rubs. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.